Hey, Storytelling Ron here. Hi, all you storytellers. So this is Star Wars role-playing game. I'm going to show you kind of just the basic understanding of how to do make adversaries. Adversaries, I think that's the right word. So I just did a little chart here to show you the basic understanding of making a minion, a rival, adversaries. Is that right? Adversary. Okay. So over here is creature minions, right? So the minions, obviously, you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 minions. And sorry, I'm gonna go gardening here in a sec. So that's why I'm kind of weird. Got no shoulder covered. Got to do the over winter, do some pruning and stuff. But so I bet here's the basic setup to make your minions, right? And this is really kind of simple. And by the way, the templates I've got on here, I was able to import and use in my InDesign. You can use it on LibreOffice or I guess documents. Is do a search for this. And this guy, he did it years ago, but there's like a zip file or a download. It's really cool, and it's got all these little little fonts. I think these fonts, the Star Wars fonts, and these little things, and then it's got these little graphics in here you can use to set up your thing. And I did have to set up a certain way for my InDesign. This is actually inside the actual this text document, and it's really cool. I got it all set up, and I can type in my little numbers here really easily. But anyway, okay. So creature minions. So the basic oh gosh, what are they called? Characteristics? I never get the nomenclatures right. Anyway, so the basic ability numbers, right, is 1 1 1, right? That's like a little creature. One. Let's just say we're doing a womp rat. In a human, let me just start with this, just so you comparison. A human, like a stormtrooper, would be a 2. Now, we would probably increase it a little bit if we wanted to. I know the stormtrooper has like a 3 for brawn, and I think a 3 for willpower, but whatever. We'll just go with this for right now. So the creature minimum is like a 1. That's like a womp rat, right? But I'm thinking, it'll probably have a 2 cunning, and maybe a 2 agility. Just to survive. Skills. Okay, so for minions, especially, you don't give them skill ranks. You give them certain skills that maybe, if there's 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, you'll add an extra rank to their roll. Most of them obviously will have a, if it's going to have a 2 here, it's going to have maybe an attack with a 2 or a 1. If I'm just using brawn, right? Because brawn is more for melee. And agility is more for like shooting and throwing things. But I might just, like if it's a womp rat, I might consider just giving it the agility, or maybe I can switch it up. But I feel like a little rat would have agility, so it wouldn't necessarily have a good attack. So that's confusing me right now. But whatever. Okay, so yeah, I would switch this to a bite, right? And the basic weapons, let's just stick with the what I'm doing. Okay, the bite, then every weapon or attack is going to have these basic things: a damage, a critical, a range, and some sort of quality, which is over here, this list, and I'll go through those in a minute. But that's all they really have, and it's very simple. I mean, you can add more stuff, you can do more things, but those are the basics. It's the damage it does, the base damage, then the critical, which is if it how many advantages it gets to then do a critical. The range, and the range is very simple. It's engaged, short, medium, or long. And by the way, I'm playing it now so that I just look at the map. I use battle maps, so I just look at it and decide is it short, is it medium? Long is like to me is like the when the Tusken Raiders are shooting their slug thrower rifles. That's long. And what's weird is that in their weapon range, I think medium is their max. I think. I just switched that to long. I feel like that's long. Medium to me is like across a few blocks of a city kind of thing, or the end of 2 blocks or a block or whatever. That's kind of medium. And close is just the where they're all at kind of thing. But whatever. Okay, so that's your basic weapons. That's all you need. You need the bite or the whatever the thing is, and then how many ranks it has on it, and then of course I'm going to use the brawn for the attack. I might even just use agility. I mean, might just do that. I might just throw agility in there. I feel like it's their little bite is not based on strength; it's based on their speed. So I might just do that and just give them a 2. But I don't have to give them a 2 actually. The number I give them here is going to be the rank, right? Not the natural skill. So this would be like a 1. And then of course if they have minions, like if there's 3 of them, they would get 2 more. So this would be 3. So rats, 3 womp rats would have a 3 and a 2. That's actually pretty tough. I'd probably bring that down a notch. I probably would not do that, especially if they're little womp rats. I mean, they're giant. They're large in the sense of like dog size, or small dog size. So I don't like that. So I'm just gonna bring it down to 2. So 2 and 2, which is still not. I don't like. So I'm gonna. You know what? If there's a 3 of them, I'm gonna just say that I'll just do that. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. I'm the GM. That's how I'm deciding it. I just feel like if they have if they have let me get that symbol here. Yeah, if they have literally this to me is like not gonna work. That's a tough dude right there. That's a Trandoshan bounty hunter shot or fight. That's not a womp rat. So you got to think about that. You got to think about that kind of. So I'm gonna bring that down to 1. And I might even say minion 3 just to remind myself that there's 3 of them. Whatever. Okay, so none of these change. None of this changes. The only thing that changes is the weapon attack, and then the skills. Now, so for womp rats, right? If they were womp rats, what would be their? So over here, I have a list of all the skills, and what would as they're adding minions, what would they give them another rank in their skill for that? So I would say stealth is they obviously have. I think they have good stealth, and vigilance, right? Or cool or vigilance. Vigilant. I feel like womp rats are not vigilant at all. Just like rats, they're just kind of like doing their thing. You could literally go up to them before they scurry off. They'll scurry off as a reaction, but not usually as they see you. They just don't need that much because they're just womp rats. Stealth, and even stealth, I'm not even sure I'd give them. I don't think I'd give them anything really because they're just womp rats. Okay, so I'm going to put that back to XX. They have no talents, no abilities, at least none that are necessary for the adventure. Okay, so let's move on from womp rats. Let's go something a little more as a creature. Let's say I'm going to make up a creature. That's how simple this is. I'm going to think of, let's say in the Tatooine, maybe they have giant ants, some sort of giant ant. Okay, some creepy creature like that. There's obviously a couple of those there, and even in that new Boba Fett, which I love the Boba Fett series, by the way. I don't know why people are giving it such a hard time. I think it's great. It doesn't need a Grogu, right? It just needs to be entertaining. Okay, so let's just say a giant ant kind of creature with a carapace, armor, and all that. So I'm gonna just Grantix, Granters, Grankix, Rankix? No, it's almost like sounds too much like rancor. Carax. There we go. Carax. Whatever. I don't know. Okay. So I'm gonna say there's a bunch of cracks, which are like giant scary ants with mandibles. So I'm gonna say they have a strength of 2, agility of 2. They're obviously 1 intellect or less. I'm not gonna say they have any cunning because they're just there. Willpower 2. Okay, what they have, they're a little more. They're not necessarily intelligent, but they're obviously more of a tougher thing. So their bite is going to be, now this will make sense to me. Their bite is a 1 rank, thusly it'll look like this. It'll be 1 ability and 1 challenge die, and that's if there's 3 of them, right? Because they're still small. They're not like not each of them, not like one of them could not kill a person normally. So 3 of them though may be able to. That's dangerous. So the damage. So I'm gonna say the damage is going to say the damage is generally low, but the critical is also low. So they could do, obviously the range is going to be engaged. The quality, I'm going to take out stun and put in like their mandibles. So I'm going to put in ensnare, right? That's going to be a common one I'm going to be using because ensnare is, tentacles, anything that grabs. Even a rancor might even have ensnare to grab somebody. So, and the ensnare will be just for one round. And it's basically their mandibles tighten on somebody, and then more of them can come and do the hive thing, and maybe another minion group is coming along, and so it just kind of messes up the characters for a little bit. And that's kind of how I'm doing it. So that's your bit. I'm kind of done. That's kind of scary enough. But what else? Okay, talents and abilities. Now, equipment is the same as weapons as far as this in the regular Star Wars thing, but I separated them out to equipment and weapons. It doesn't have a comm link. I mean, I could give it an antennae, an antennae, which is a comm link, so it can contact, let others know, something. It's kind of interesting. Ability, or talent. I don't. Which is which? I can't remember. Whatever. Talent, tunneler, sand tunneler. So you know what that means as a GM. Skills. I'm gonna give it stealth. These guys are really good at sort of hiding, and I don't need to give it ranks. The ranks will be based on how many are there. Stealth and perception or vigilance. Just give it perception. What else? Stealth. Yeah, I'd give it stealth. Perception and vigilance, because they're guarding. They're very good at waiting, in ambush kind of thing. Okay, and I mean I could give them cool too, but that's fine. Let's say if they're really good at, so I should give them an ability where they could ambush, right? So if they're not moving and they're just sitting there, then they have maybe, I'll give them like I'm just making this up. I'm giving an ambush boost if waiting. Ambush boost to stealth. So they'll have a boost if, and by the way, I do have, let me show you, I'll just go find it. I do have, this will be on my website, by the way, as a PDF. But I do have these templates, the templates from the Thingamadinger. I made that, and that way I can just quickly access those symbols without having to, remember to change the font and type it. Put that right there. If or no, ambush boost to attack if stealth successful. There we go. So if they're stealth successful and they're hiding and people come along, they get a boost to their attack. See, it's that simple. That's how simple it is just to make a thing, creatures. And I guess I don't really need to go any further because you get where I'm going. I can add gear, like the basic stuff for for soak. Okay, soak is always going to be the brawn, right? Wound threshold, that's always, it's 10 plus the brawn, but obviously for minions I think it would be half, so let's say 7. And they don't have strain, right, as a minion. Defense, they don't have any defense, melee or range. That's usually artificial, like armor and stuff. Okay, so for a stormtrooper, real quick, so here's a basic stormtrooper. Now if they're going to be like a fighting stormtrooper, maybe you're going to add a 3 to brawn, or they really use the guns. I've seen 3 on brawn, but I'm going to go with gun. And willpower, no, I just don't think anything else. I just think agility. I've seen a little different on other ones. And they're starting soak is obviously 2 plus the armor, so 4. I believe it's a 5 because they give them a brawn of 3 in the other ones, but which I will do that too. I will make stormtroopers that way as well. I'll kind of adjust them based on what level, but let's just say a starting out stormtrooper. Wound threshold is going to be 10 plus 2, so 12. But it's a minion, so we have that. So 5 plus 2 is 7. I think theirs is 6, though, in the thing. And I'm going to go ahead and make it a 6. Because minions are around 6 wounds. That's about what they have. So they're usually like 1 hit and you kill them. 1 or 2 hits and they're dead. And but let's just say for skills, okay, these ones are going to be the ones that they throw all, into smaller settlements, where you maybe first encounter the players. These are like the new recruit stormtroopers. Okay, so they're going to need, because they're minion based, what skills do they have as they're together? I'm going to say perception, obviously, because they're trying to be like guards and security kind of thing. Let me just put that back down to regular. Okay, perception. Obviously the attack stuff is going to do that, but I don't need to add that here. What else? Discipline. There we go. Yeah, I'm looking at the social knowledge thing there. Discipline. Let's see what they're going to be. Coercion, because they're using their imperial presence to make people nervous, and that's it. Those 3, because they're plus obviously the weapon things, and obviously light blaster pistol, or they'll have a rifle, but it's a very, I don't even know what the rifle stats are, but I'm just gonna guess. I'm not even gonna say heavy blaster, because they don't, just a blaster rifle. I don't even know exactly. They're probably gonna be damage 7, critical 3, range medium, whatever. Quality, they don't have stun on theirs, I don't think. Do they have? Okay, so here's the weapon qualities right here. I'm just looking real quick to see if any of these would make any sense. I don't think so. I think we're good. They just have blaster rifle, damage 7, critical, and medium range. I think that's it. Just for the fun of it, I'm gonna look that up real quick and see. Let me just see real quick if I got that right. I don't, not even totally sure. I mean, it's close, I guess. I don't know. Let me see. A blaster rifle. Okay, damage 9. Ooh, okay, that's a lot more. Critical 3, I got that right. Right? Yeah. Medium range. Oh, encumbrance, 4. But that doesn't matter for a minion. Yeah, okay, so that's it. They have a stun setting on it. Okay. So, this would be a 9. And they have a stun setting as well, in case they want to capture the the players or whatever. So that's it. And then here's the Imperial Officer. He's going to have a little the that's one thing about the officer. Like as you get to rival, you're going to want to know more of the ability, the talents here. It's funny because the talent, there's 2 different things going on here, right? Well, no, the talents and abilities. I don't know. I can't tell which is how they're intermixing that. I should probably look that up. But anyway, the talents come from all those talent trees, right? And then there is there's obviously a section here after skills is talents, right? After skills is talents, and then these talents have all the different lists of talents that the players can have. Obviously, you can use these for the rivals too. The little mid-level kind of leader type adversaries. The first one to me that's just kind of weird is on this list is called Adversary, and that's for NPCs, and that'll upgrade the difficulty of any combat check against that villain or adversary. And I put that up here just as my own little note to talk about it. I guess I haven't GM'd enough of this to see how beneficial that is. I don't like it. I think it's kind of weird because when you make the rival or nemesis, which is the higher level, you're giving them so many things to survive and do. I mean, maybe it's because I would, instead of giving them the adversary talent, I would prefer giving them like stormtroopers, or some minions that the players still have to fight, as opposed to it being that they have this sort of, I don't know, game balance kind of defense. It's not, I would give them more armor or more wounds or something. I wouldn't make it just that it's harder to hit them with this adversary thing. That thing is kind of off-putting to me. So I may not use that, so just something for you to be aware of that. You could take that out too. And obviously I would make it so that the villains, the adversaries, are tough, or they have minions. I definitely want to do that. But anyway, under the talents, there's a whole bunch of choices of things that you could give the characters. And I've just right here before I started filming, I didn't make a list of all the talents because you can make up anything you want really because there's so many different kinds. But I kind of did it in categories, and maybe I might make a list myself of what talents I'd want to use a lot. And obviously the main one for me for creature combat is ensnare, which is a weapon quality up here, for nets or tentacles or grabbing. That to me is a very common talent, I guess. I don't know if that's even a talent. I guess it's just a weapon attack. But a sand tunneler is a talent that a creature would have. Or sand walker is a very common one, especially in Tatooine, right? They can survive that. But obviously I put creature combat, something that matters for the combat. But I probably should just put, creature combat, and then creature, survival or advantage, something like that. So I probably want to make a little list of those, or just make one up, man. You can just literally say, let's just go back to the Kurok. Okay, so they have their sand tunneler. Well, so I gave them this ambush, sand tunneler. I know they can move along the sand, so they're sand walkers as well. So right there, I know that if we were in like the Dune Sea and there's dunes, I'd probably make all the characters have a hard time getting across those engagement ranges, or trying to get away from the Kuroks. And the Kuroks can totally reach them quickly. They only need one maneuver to get to them and get in the range band. Whereas the characters, I might make them need 2 maneuvers to change range bands because of the sand. They're not used to, running around the sand. So, see, it's easy stuff like that you can do to just make up your own little creatures or thugs or stormtroopers. It's pretty basic stuff, and as long as you kind of have the basic knowledge of, or access to this information, and like weapon qualities, accurate. I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. I could be wrong. I vaguely am familiar with all of these now, but to me, accurate just adds a boost. I think auto fire. That one's kind of weird. I keep rereading that one, and I think what that one is when you get enough advantages, you can then put that same amount of damage on a second target, kind of thing. And it's harder to hit normally anyway. Whatever. That one's a little weirdio. I got to reread that one again and again. That one I may never retain. It's one of the ones I have to look up again and again. Breach is cool. So if you have a weapon, it can go through armor, vehicle armor. So that's good to know. Burn just doesn't, I think, an extra round of damage, something like that. Blast, it'll a bunch of characters in the area or minions. Concussive, I think, adds this like a stun to whatever in the area. Cortosis is against lightsabers and stuff like that. Cumbersome is, you have to have a certain brawn to carry this weapon. Defensive adds to your melee. Deflection adds to your range. Right, 1 and 1. Those are setback die. Disorient is something like a setback if you get it for so many rounds. Ensnare is you can't move for so many rounds if there's a number there. Guided is, that's kind of like auto fire to me. I have to reread that one. It's like, say what? It's long too. It's a long couple of paragraphs about how to. Maybe I'll just give them an extra boost die or something. I don't know. Knockdown. Okay. Inaccurate. Setback die or something. Inferior. Ion. Limited ammo. Okay. That's linked. That one. Yeah. They're okay. Does it do double damage? I can't remember. Something like that. Pierce. Okay. That goes through soak or denies soak, and whereas breach denies armor. Pierce denies soak. I don't know if it denies the defense thing. I forgot. Prepare. You got to maybe take some round, slow firing, maybe every other round. So stun is, you can do a stun setting. Stun damages the weapon inherently does only stun damage, something like that. Sunder can break items, and I think there's 4 levels of break. Superior before it actually breaks, but it might be Sunder too, so it takes it down 2 levels, like especially lightsabers. Superior obviously gives it like a boost die or something, or extra damage to a weapon, increases the base damage of it. Tractor is like a tractor beam thing. Yeah. Vicious is adding to the critical, right? Plus 10, plus 20, plus 30 if you do critical. So see? So you kind of have to get the basics of these, and then when you're making your creatures or minions, you can just, oh yeah, I want to have this, I want to have that, I want to have breach, the weapon. or the mandibles or I want to or when the Rancor swings, I want it to have knockdown. I think it does. I just don't know off the top of my head. So there's that kind of cool. You just add those in these weapon qualities into the attacks, and then you can kind of give them the different characters some sort of talents. And if you can't think of it, make it up. Just they got a boost die for deception, or they all get a setback for just use boost dice and setback dice, throw those around. And if you're ever in like an argument with the players, and they really want something you're not really sure, just give them a boost die. I mean, boost die is pretty minimal. It's a nice little compromise, and it doesn't really, to me, it feels good to have one, and it can help, but it can not help, and blah blah blah. So it's just a nice way of solving something. Yeah, give them a boost die or setback die, whatever. So I hope this. I think we're at the end here. I think I've kind of explained how you can make your own adversaries pretty quickly, pretty simply, and just have these kind of things up. Be aware, familiarize yourself with this kind of stuff here, the weapon qualities and the different talents you may want to use. You probably have some that you use that are common that you just use over and over a lot. Okay, and then that's it. And you can literally just make up whatever creatures you want, even the ones from the movies and the shows. You could literally just make it yourself without having to go look for it. You just think about what kind of stats. I mean, obviously the 2 is the human stat, so a 3 is a Wookiee and Trandoshan type of stat for physical, and a Rancor would be a 5, and a 6 would be a crate dragon. As far as those stats going up that high and what they can do. A crate, obviously an epic crate dragon would be an 8 or a 9, but you don't go there. Okay, and I haven't done vehicles, but it's sort of similar to this. It's it's that sort of simplicity in this game, and how fun it is to just create stuff and put them down and play quickly. All right, so if this was helpful, may the force be with you, storytellers, and that you can make your own thingamadingers now. All right, thanks for watching and listening.